Yo guys, what is going on? It's Luki here and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about basically just a few tips and tricks and all of that kind of stuff that you guys should take into consideration before you actually go ahead and download the game. So as you guys know, Modern Warfare is coming out tomorrow or a few days. I'm not sure when I'm going to be putting this video up, but it should probably be a few days before the full game comes out. So I thought I'd make a video on basically some tips and tricks so you guys can be ready for when the game comes out, because once the game comes out everyone's going to be new, everyone's going to be probably struggling a little bit, and these tips I'm going to share with you guys are going to help you out tremendously. So I definitely recommend you guys taking into consideration what I'm going to say in today's video. Hopefully you do enjoy it, but before I do get into today's main video, I'd like to go ahead and quickly mention that me and my friend the Gibbinator are doing a giveaway. We're going to be giving away one full copy of Modern Warfare, or if the winner already has Modern Warfare, then we're going to be giving the winner £50 on PayPal or Amazon gift card, or however you guys would like the money. So basically I'm just going to be getting straight into this. So a few main tips on what you guys should definitely take into consideration before you play the game. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about some simple little tips that pretty much most people know, but I'm still going to be talking about them because a lot of people don't actually do these, and yeah, it's kind of like they're going to be tips that you guys are probably going to hear what I say and you're probably going to be thinking, why are you telling us this? But trust me, a lot of people actually forget about this and it really does affect their game, and because they forget about this it makes them do so much worse than they actually could do. So I thought I'd still include it in today's video, and then later on in the video I'm going to be talking about some more like secretive kind of tips that not many people talk about and not many people know. So let's just get straight into this. So the first tip is going to be to change your classes and change your settings. Now once again, like I said before, you're probably thinking, why am I telling you this? But yeah, a lot of people actually just download the game, and as soon as they download the game they hop straight into a game and they don't even think about changing their settings, they don't even think about changing their classes and stuff like that. Now you can't actually change your classes until about level 7 or something like that, so obviously you won't be able to change your classes straight away, but I do recommend you guys changing those settings because that's probably one of the most important things in order to become a better player, is finding the correct settings for you. So on this game, the correct settings that the main thing that you guys should look into, and the main thing you should think about changing, is going to be your sensitivity. Your sensitivity is probably the biggest biggest setting option that is going to make or break your playstyle, and literally it's going to be the difference between life or death when you are playing. So personally I like to go ahead and use a 7.7 or an 8.8 sensitivity. On this game I like to use about an 8.8. In the previous Call of Duty it's been like a 7.7, but this game is a little bit more slow, so I do like to be a bit more fast, so I do use an 8.8 sensitivity instead. So I definitely recommend you guys using something similar to me if you guys are a new player, and of course you guys can go ahead and change it as much as you guys want to. A little tip that I have for you new guys is to go ahead and get into a game, use 7.7 and basically play that game, see how you like that option. If you guys don't like it, if it's too slow, then make it a bit higher, or if it is too fast, then make it a bit lower, and then you guys will be able to find out the right sensitivity for you. Now it does take a few games to get used to it. I used to literally use the highest sensitivity in the game, but ever since I've been using like a 7.7 or an 8.8, it has made me play a lot better. So I definitely recommend you guys taking a few minutes before you actually hop into a game and just simply changing your settings around and making sure that your settings are good for the way you play. So anyway, the next tip is going to be to check every single corner in the game. Now I don't mean every single corner because that's a bit overkill. I basically mean popular corners. So over time you guys will probably learn the kind of places that people camp, because on this game it is a lot more campy than the previous Call of Duties we have had. So a lot of people do like to sit in corners and sit in buildings and stuff like that, so it is extremely helpful just to pre-aim corners when you walk around them. So what I mean by this is when you enter a building that it's kind of popular building, you guys should just check the corners before you enter it. Maybe slowly enter it, or as you run around the corner, just like I did there in the gameplay. As you guys saw, I ran around the corner, I jumped around the corner, and when I did, I pre-aimed it just in case there was an enemy there, and there actually was an enemy there. and I ended up shooting him a few times, and then he did actually end up dying by a teammate. So I do hugely recommend you guys simply just aiming around corners. It is extremely helpful on this game because as well, the time to kill on this game is a little bit slower than normal Call of Duty, so it is extremely helpful for you guys to have your sights ready aimed in case there is an enemy there, so you guys can get all those shots on target a lot more quicker than the enemy does get his targets on you. Anyway, the next little tip I'm going to be talking about is to go ahead and stick to the outside of the maps. Now, this is kind of a tip that I basically see a lot of people doing anyway on the previous Call of Duties, and it's kind of one of the main tips I used to always talk about in the previous Call of Duties, but in this game it is so much more helpful than it has been on the previous Call of Duties, because on this game, as you guys probably know, the maps are a little bit different. So on previous Call of Duties we had 3-laned maps, that's what they were called, and basically that means there is a lane on the right hand side of the map, there's a lane in the middle of the map, and then there is a lane on the left hand side of the map, and these were like the 3 main lanes. So on these 3-laned maps in the previous Call of Duties, everyone would pretty much go down the middle lane, and that is where most of the action is. Now on this map, the maps are just all over the place, there's buildings everywhere, it's not really specifically 3 lanes on every single map. There can be literally 7 different routes to the same location. If you want to go to a building on the left hand side of the map, there's probably 7 or like 10 different ways you guys could literally get to that building. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. The maps are just a bit different on this game, so sticking to the outside of the map on this game is even more helpful than it has been on the previous ones. And let's say for example, I'm just going to talk about why that is really helpful. So let's say for example you go to the middle of the map, you guys are going to get shot from the left, the right, behind, in front of you, from people on top of the building, from people below, like the people are going to be everywhere. So sticking to those left hand sides of the map cuts out certain places that you can get shot from. So let's say for example you are on the left hand side of the map, you won't be able to get shot from the left hand side of the map or really behind you, because that should be your spawn. So the only places you have to worry about people shooting you from is in front of you and to your right. So it is extremely helpful to just stick to the edge of the map. It is probably one of the biggest tips in Call of Duty to do, because like I said before, if you go to the middle of the map, people are just going to be absolutely everywhere, and you guys are just going to be able, you're just going to die. You're not going to be able to continue your streak that well. Anyway, the next tip that I'm going to go ahead and talk about is to go ahead and find a weapon that you like and kind of get used to its recoil pattern. Now, in this Call of Duty there isn't much recoil on pretty much all of the weapons, so it isn't that, like, you don't have to use that one weapon. Personally, for me, I have found a very good weapon that I like to use, and that is the M13. The M13 is an assault rifle. It's the one I'm using in the gameplay in the background. It has a bunch of ammo, good fire rate, hardly any recoil, good attachments, and overall it is an extremely good gun. So find that one weapon that suits your playstyle, use it a bunch, but I don't recommend using the same weapon every single game as well, because that can get a bit boring. Obviously you guys should try and switch it up, but whenever you do switch it up, don't just use that gun for one game and think, you know what, this gun's rubbish. Use that gun a bunch of different games, make sure to rank that level up, rank the gun levels up so you guys unlock a bunch of attachments, and then use that weapon once it's got max attachments and once you're used to how it plays. And trust me, you guys are going to be able to find a bunch of different weapons, because using the same weapon every game is kind of good, but then in a way it is also kind of bad, because you guys could just be using something you're comfortable with. But if you actually go out of your comfort zone, then you guys are going to find weapons that are extremely good in their own different ways, such as in the beta I was using the M13 quite a lot, but every now and then I would experiment with the different weapons, and I did find out a few different weapons which are absolutely amazing. For example, the M91, which is the very first LMG you unlock. It's amazing. It is one of the best weapons in the game, and it's super good, and it has its own little different kind of benefits. For example, it has a very large ammo size, and it is very good at long ranges, so using those weapons is very good. So it's always good to change up your weapons, but it's also very good to find weapons that you are good with in each class. So I definitely recommend you guys finding a weapon that you guys are comfortable with and kind of sticking to it. But once again, don't stick to it every single game. Still, you should experiment with different weapons, and you guys will find another weapon that is also very good. Anyway, the next one is going to be to make sure to look at that minimap a lot. On this game, the minimap isn't that great. It's kind of small and it doesn't show you that much of the map, but it still is one of the best things that you guys can do in order to stay alive longer and die less and all of that kind of stuff. So looking at the minimap will literally help you out tremendously. So the minimap will give you give away loads of different things. So for example, it's going to show you where the enemies are, which is obviously very, very important, because if you don't know where the enemies are, you guys aren't going to know where to go, you guys aren't going to know where they are, and for all you know, there could be an enemy right behind you and they could end up killing you. I don't know how many times that I flank people, and if they looked at their minimap, they would most probably know where I was and they would be able to kill me, but they're kind of stupid. They don't look at that minimap. I literally just go behind them. I'm not even using ghost or anything, and I go right behind them and kill them. And if they looked at their minimap, they would have definitely seen me on the minimap and they would have killed me straight away. So that is definitely one of the biggest mistakes and one of the biggest tips that I have for you guys to go ahead and take into mind. Anyway, the next tip I'm going to be talking about is the next reason why the minimap is also very, very good is because you guys are going to know where your teammates are. Now, knowing when your teammates are, if you're not very experienced at this game, then you guys are probably not going to know what I'm talking about. But basically, if you know where your teammates are, you guys are going to know where the enemies are. So for example, if your teammates are one side of the map, your enemies should be the other side of the map to your teammates. So that is where the enemies will be if you are trying to find out where the enemies are. Anyway, the last one, and probably the most obvious one, is just going to be to practice. So if you hop on this game and at the beginning you guys are doing rubbish, then don't quit. Don't quit at all. It happened to me, it happened to literally every single person in the beta. At the beginning of the beta, I was doing absolutely awful. Like, I can't even stress it enough, I was doing the worst I've ever done in any Call of Duty before. And that is for the main reason that this game plays so much differently. This game is a lot slower, this game has a lot of different kind of stuff going on than other previous Call of Duty, so it is a lot different in so many different ways. So just give it a chance, don't give up if you guys do bad straight away, because it's a new game, it's completely different to any other Call of Duty we've had before, so it's obviously going to feel different, it's going to play different, and you guys are just going to have to adapt at the game. Now, like I said before, at the beginning of the beta, I was doing so bad, like the worst I've ever done in any Call of Duty before, and towards the end of the beta, I actually almost ended up dropping a nuke. The gameplay in the background is where I actually almost dropped a nuke, I'm pretty sure. I got like a 23 kill streak, a 27 kill streak. I died so many times close to a nuke, but near the end of the beta I was actually doing extremely well, and at the beginning I was doing rubbish. So that just shows that literally just giving the game a bit of a chance. Trust me, just give the game a chance. At the beginning you guys might not like it, but give it a chance, adapt to the way you have to play on this game, which is a lot more slower than usual. As you can see, I am kind of sticking back, I'm picking a few different people off, but previous Call of Duties I would literally just rush into their spawn, but on this Call of Duty it's a lot different. So anyway, that has been it for today's video. Hopefully you do enjoy the game tomorrow or in a few days. I'm not sure when this video is going to go up, but when it does go up, I'm hoping you guys enjoy the game, and hopefully this video did help you out. So if it did, please go ahead and drop yourself a like. I'm going to be uploading a bunch of videos in Modern Warfare, so I definitely recommend you guys subscribing to the channel and turning those notifications on if you guys want to stay up to date with all of the best tips and tricks. Anyway, that has been it for once again, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.